All right, welcome everyone. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going on a scientific expedition into one of the most mysterious and complex habitats known to humankind, a brother's messy room. Yep, you heard that right. We're going to deconstruct this environment using the principles of ecology, cosmology, and even evolutionary biology. So let's just dive right in with this quote because it's the perfect starting point. And this isn't just, a colorful description. It's basically a scientific classification that really sets the stage for the bizarre and wonderful ecosystem we're about to explore. So first up, we're putting on our ecologist's hats. We're not just looking at a mess here. We are analyzing a unique habitat, a real-life jungle that's thriving right next door. And you'll see every single piece of clutter has its place in this really intricate web of life. Now, let's break this down because just like a real rainforest, you've got these distinct layers. Way up high, you have the canopy, which is just the family's drying clothes, creating this really unique microclimate. Then down below, you've got the undergrowth, a pretty treacherous terrain of dumbbells and protein powder. And of course, right at the heart of it all, we find our native species, completely unaware of the rich world that's flourishing all around him. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. We're moving from the room's ecology to the cosmology of the closet. And believe it or not, the entire history of the universe, from creation all the way to chaos, plays out inside this one wardrobe. Every cosmic story has a beginning, right? Well, in this case, it's a period of, let's call it, divine intervention. After their mother steps in, there's this brief, beautiful moment of order. The clothes are all arranged into neat galaxies and systems. And for just a little while, everything is calm. But, of course, that peace, it never lasts. Without any warning, the wardrobe goes through this cataclysmic event. The clothes don't just get messy, they literally explode from the shelves in a chaotic eruption of fabric. It's a true Big Bang that seeds this little universe with disorder all over again. And here's the brilliant part. The chaos isn't just random, it's a cycle. A predictable, repeating cycle. You've got order, which is then followed by the big bang of chaos. That leads to the inevitable moment of discovery when their mom opens the door, and that, of course, triggers a return to order. It's as fundamental as the water cycle, just with more socks. Okay, time for our third and final scientific lens, evolutionary biology. Seriously, forget the Galapagos Islands. This wardrobe is the perfect, self-contained laboratory for watching Darwin's most famous theory happen in real time. So here's the core principle, and it's so beautifully simple. In this particular habitat, natural selection isn't about which shirt is the nicest or the cleanest. Nope, it's all about opportunity. The clothes that just happen to be at the top of the pile get selected for survival, meaning they get worn. And the ones buried at the bottom, well, they might as well be fossils. But, every great ecosystem eventually faces a threat, and this one is no different. We now turn to a pretty dramatic case study in extinction, which chronicles the rise and, sadly, the tragic fall of a truly one-of-a-kind habitat. So here's how it all started. The brother, before a trip, decides to sort his clothes. But his method, which is basically just throwing everything onto the floor, doesn't create order. Instead, he accidentally creates the perfect laboratory conditions for new life to emerge from the chaos. And just look at the conditions this created. The pile of clothes was warm, humid, and dense. I mean, come on, any biologist will tell you that's the perfect recipe for microorganisms to start propagating. The potential for discovery here was absolutely huge. And our narrator, being a keen scientific observer, knew exactly what this meant. In the depths of that clothing forest, a brand new life form could have been evolving. A monumental discovery was right there, within grasp. But tragically, it was not to be. And then an outside force intervened. The mother and the domestic help, completely unaware of the delicate ecosystem they were about to dismantle, moved in. The dense, natural forest was completely clear-cut and replaced with the sterile grid of a well-planned city. Our narrator could only watch helplessly, convinced they could hear the tiny cries of microorganisms losing their habitat. A true extinction event. And what about the guy who started it all? The creator of this lost world. Well, when he got back, he was completely oblivious. He had no idea of the grand scientific tragedy that had unfolded, of the potential life forms discovered and then lost while he was gone. And this is the final crushing irony. The architect of this entire ecosystem, genuinely believed that his Big Bang method of just throwing clothes everywhere was his way of organizing. The immense scientific significance of his creation and its destruction was just completely lost on him.
So this leaves us with one final thought for you. The next time you see a messy room, or a cluttered desk, or maybe a chaotic cupboard, don't just see the mess. Try to look closer. What cycles, what habitats, what strange new forms of life might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for a scientific eye to discover them?